Welcome everybody, I am Raetac and this is Kingdoms and Castles, my review slash episode 0 of my Let's Play. So let's talk about the game. It's a city building game similar to Banished, Timber and Stone, let me see, Settlers. There's also a game that I can relate to how Kingdoms and Castles works. SimCity to a very minor degree has some really interesting sim elements within the game itself. That's about as much. If you can identify with some of these games, you would definitely like Kingdoms and Castles. Being priced at $10 on GoG and Steam, it's really not that expensive to check out. Now, as it stands in its release version, it is a released version right now, but the developers are looking at content patches. As it stands right now, the mechanics of the games are fairly simplified, and there's not a hell of a lot when it comes to the amount of a progression when it comes to the amount of structures or units you can produce. Now, that is going to be changing, so it seems, from the updates that I've seen on their Steam page. Right, enough chatter about that. Let's get into a game firstly. Let's have a look at the settings to start off with. Preferences, music, sound effects, volume, pretty standard. Invert zoom, I strongly recommend everybody checks the invert zoom box, because to push in on the mouse to scroll in and to scroll out, to move the camera back out again, is very preferable. Also, pretty standard WASD controls here with Q and E rotating the camera. Pretty standard, but it doesn't really go to explaining what keys you can actually use. That's the one thing that this game really does lack, and that is a tutorial slash even keybinds to let you know what you can do. It's a lot of assumed knowledge. Now the graphics, again, I'm running at full screen, although it seems to default to a lower screen, but I run at this resolution, not at 59 Hertz, more like at 60. Yeah, there we go. Save that, and it's a lot crisper. It hasn't really changed much in regards to screen sizes, but yes, there is definitely a crisping up of the graphics for this. Right, as you can see in the title screen, this is a map we can play. It's a very interesting title screen, to be honest. So we're going to go through the process of making a new game. We have 3 difficulty levels here, no threats at all, and the weather effects are very mild. We have easy, where we have some enemy encounters, and of course mild weather effects to go along with it, and there's hard, where the weather effects play more of a role within the time lapse or the time spent creating your kingdom, and there are more enemies to encounter. So for this, I'm going to be playing on easy. Okay, this map here, having a look at it, I'm really not that keen on this particular map, so we're going to change it. And we can continually change the map until we get a map that we're happy with. Now, I want to have a map where I have access to this dark green tiles here. They are very fertile earth, which will benefit my crops to start off with. Access to forests, and access to a good number of stone and iron deposits. So basically it comes down to location, location, location. And also when it comes to defending said village, I'm not finding anything that really is jumping out at me right now. Although this has potential. a good string of very fertile grounds, stone quarries up here. There is some forest around here, so we are going to run with, say, this one, I dare say. The land mass is not huge, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so we're going to accept this. Choose our banner. I assume that as we progress through and unlock achievements or progression states, these banners will unlock afterwards and we can choose them. But we're going to go with the blue one here, and Gradientshire. Interesting name. So here we are, the area that I have chosen. Now, I am running a GTX 1050, a very low-end card, and I'm getting about 87 frames a second with everything, all the bells and whistles turned on. So it is not very resource intensive, which is really, really nice. So the first thing we get to do, we get to place our castle. The only thing we get to do at the very start of the game. Now, I think we're going to definitely be close to where the fertile grounds are going to be, and fairly close where that stone's going to be. But I also want to make sure we have room for housing. So we're going to place that there. Now, where to go from here? This then unlocks other things we can make. We can make roads, bridges, houses. Houses are important for our peasants to live in. And other resources like wells, provides access to water in case of a fire, also reduces chance of fire spreading nearby. Definitely advisable. You do not want to have a fire running through your kingdom. Not very advisable at all. Okay, let's check in with our advisors. I like this advisor screen. It reminds me so much of Civilization 2. Good day, sire. I need farms to feed our workers. Now, they could elaborate more on this, I find. Okay, so we got our fertile ground here. Barren tiles here. You will not be able to grow anything on. So we'll just have to make do with what we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to extend a road out that way. Now, as you can see, I've now run out of resources. So what we're going to have to do, we have to click on the tree and tag that for chopping. So let's get these guys indoors and make them a house. The next thing we should really think about is food. And we'll plant a farm there. So we are just going to... Okay, we're getting four lots of lumber there. So we're going to expand on our food again. And after that, we're going to wait until we get enough wood to make another hovel. Right here. Now, if we click on the hovel, we can note what makes the people happy. The residents want access to a well. Well, we haven't got the stone to make one quite yet. The dwelling has access to a road, which is +8 happiness. Has neighbours is +8 happiness, but we don't have any charcoal. Charcoal is something from industry, which it requires a charcoal maker, which also requires the input of lumber. Now, we can click on these trees all day long, and we don't really want to be doing that. We want to kind of automate that. The best way we do that is with the forester here. Similar to Banished in some regards. You place down the forester, they go out, plant trees, and bring back lumber. You don't have to do anything. So that's actually pretty cool. But, and it looks like, yep, I had accidentally pressed the space bar there. Of course, with most of these type of games, space bar will pause your game for you. Right, So, what can we do from here? It seems as though the villagers are placing items right there, but that will probably change later. We really need to get more villagers in. The best way to get villagers is to increase your happiness, and when the time rolls around where immigrants will look at your fair kingdom and say whether they will want to join or not, here we are. Lord, 4 people found a satisfactory home and decided to stay and serve you. Very, very nice. Cool. So that gives me idle people I can boss about and tell what to do. So what I want to do is look at, firstly, increasing my roads. To have access to this stone. To do that, you need a quarry, which you need 15 wood. Right, so all it is left to do is chop down trees. And also, I think we're going to be needing some more hovels. So I think what we'll do, we'll place another hovel there. And we'll connect it up with a road. To keep our peasants happy. Right. Currently, yeah, we're doing okay now. I would definitely love to get that quarry up and running. Or sooner rather than later, actually. But let's look at food. Place some more of those down. Now, with food, we've only got a very limited amount of storage space for food. The best thing to do for that is look at a granary. Of course, we can't do that because we don't have the wood and we do not have the stone yet. So we're back to the problem of having enough wood to make a quarry. Now, let's see. How am I going to do this? It's interesting that our peasants are actually cutting through buildings. It seems to be I wouldn't say it's a feature, but it seems to be something that they can do. So we're still waiting on wood, are we? Right, let's tag some more trees for chopping. My lord, 4 people visited, but only 1 found a satisfactory home and decided to stay. Okay. It looked like I had all my houses were full at that stage. So they are planting their crops. We're getting trees chopped down. The other thing we can really look at is possibly getting a forest. Actually, hang on. I may be jumping ahead of myself. No, we need the stone first. So for that, we'll place that down. Right, so everything's happy except they want access to a well. Now, I really would have liked a hotkey to turn the information windows off, but that's not something that we get given. Let's place another hovel down. And hopefully we'll get the next time we get another round of villagers come in. Yep, here we go. Life is good. Kingdom attracted 3 new recruits. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna need... Okay, it's chopping down. Our quarry is getting built. And we see, it seems as though our resources are being left out in the open. We can't have that. There's one thing we can do is build a stockpile, but we need stone to build said stockpile. So the sooner that quarry gets built, the better. And pretty much this is the main, I suppose, routine of the game. You desire to have more peasants, to construct more things, to bring more resources in, to construct like further advanced buildings, and so on and so forth. Pretty much the whole cycle of the things. Occasionally you get attacked by either dragons, ogres, Vikings. You have the means to repel such things with the castle tab here. You have walls to keep the invaders out, and archers and ballista towers to kill them off. Now, I haven't actually had a really long game yet, so I don't know how far or how big the waves do escalate. I do know for a fact that on the easy setting we have here, the invasions you do have doesn't really mean game over. It will set you back, yes, but you will be able to pick yourself, dust yourself off, and see where your weaknesses are and try and compensate. Of course, I've not tried the hard mode as yet, so there, as it does state, there is the possibility that you can and will lose. So there is that. Okay, we've got 3 more people. That's fantastic. Now, we've got some stone in, so let's increase our happiness, shall we? So that's in the town. No, actually, what I really want is... we can do a small stockpile, which would probably be better for everything else. So if I place the stockpile there, the quarry will place the stone in. There'll be less travelling required for our little villagers, so that's all. That makes the things a lot better. The other thing that we currently got a problem with is we've got food sitting out in the open. We can't have that. We're going to need to make a granary. Can't do that until I have 5 stone. So yeah, we've just lost food because it sat out in the open. Wow, can't have that. So let's build some more roads. Actually, let's connect up the front of the castle. And we'll place a road going out this way. Right? So, food, small granary. Oh, we've got the stone, we don't have the wood now. Right. So this is looking to be quite interesting. I think I'm going to be setting up a forester's area around here, I dare say. Or perhaps closer in here. Probably would be better. But currently, I've got some pretty major inefficiencies with the distance that my peasants are traveling. Also, the middle mouse button gives you total camera control. Very, very nice. And the game is, again, very, very smooth. 5 people, but only 1 found a satisfactory home. That means my houses are full. Well, crap. So I'm losing out on getting more villagers. Gonna have to fix that. Oh, I can actually make the well now. As you can see, the well has a area of effect, as it were. So we're going to place that, say, we're going to place that here. Right, so that will increase the happiness of our town. Oh, we got a dragon. And the actual lock-on feature for the view button is really, really cool. You use the middle mouse button to scroll around and see the menacing dragon. I must admit, the art style of the game itself is really spot on. Very, even for the voxel nature of it all, it's very, very well polished. Again, I'm wasting food. Let's sigh. Okay, so our well has been built, and let's make this small granary. Pressing R will rotate the buildings and place that out that way. So now, no charcoal, but it's got happiness everywhere else. Pretty decent. So now, what I really want to do is increase the, well, have some way to build actually cottages. 25 wood, 10 stone. By the time I get the wood together, I'll probably have the stone happening. Probably. The other thing we can look at is industry and forester. Definitely looking at that. Pretty close to my stockpile. Would probably be a very good idea, actually. Now, the foresters, I don't know for certain whether they will plant trees on barren ground or whether the trees are required to be on tiles that... Oh, no, hang on. I may be wrong. Trees can grow on barren tiles. So, wow. This is how close you can zoom up to anything around this place. And again, running really, really smoothly. Alright, so this, in a nutshell, is Kingdoms and Castles. If the starting 20 minutes of a game is not enough to convince you, in that case, it's probably not a game for you. However, if what I've shown you has definitely piqued your interest, I would definitely recommend taking that $10 and taking a chance on this. There is more content coming, so I'm told. Something to do with merchants and harbours and other deeper, like, economic things. So the developer, the game is far from done, even though it is in release state. Alright folks, well, if you're interested in continuing watching Kingdoms and Castles, do consider subscribing. And if you like the video and like this, well, I wouldn't say like the series, if you liked what I've presented here on Kingdoms and Castles, do go ahead and click that like button. And of course, if you're interested in anything else I've done in the past, or possibly doing right now, check out some of the playlists over to the right hand side. I've been Raetac, this has been Kingdoms and Castles. I'll see you next time.